Have you ever heard a story so disturbing, so unholy, that it feels less like history and more like a nightmare? A story buried for over a century, of a family that turned love into a prison, religion into a weapon, and daughters into wives of their own father. This is a marriage pact, a tale whispered in fragments, a legacy cursed in silence. Imagine rural Tennessee in the late 1800s. Dust roads, farmland stretching into the horizon, a world that looks peaceful from the outside. But behind closed doors in a farmhouse hidden by oak trees, a pact was made, one that would bind generations in chains darker than iron. The father was not just a man. To his family, he was law. His word was gospel. His command unquestionable. He told his daughters, "No man will take you. No blood will leave this house. You will remain mine forever." And with those words, innocence ended. The first daughter was just 12, barely able to braid her hair. She was forced into the role of a bride. No white dress, no celebration, just silence, candles, and a father who told her this was her destiny. Can you imagine her fear in that moment? Backhand index pointing right. What would you do if the very man meant to protect you became the monster to destroy you? At first, the daughters resisted. They cried, they begged, but resistance brought pain, whips, hunger, locked rooms. And slowly, fear replaced rebellion. The pact spread like poison, until it wasn't just force. It became tradition. One sister was told to watch as another was broken. Then she was told, "You're next." And soon, submission turned to silence. Silence turned to ritual. Neighbors began to notice. The girls never went to school. They never attended church. Their faces at the window looked pale, almost ghostly. One villager swore he saw a girl running barefoot at night, her dress torn, her cries echoing through the valley. By morning, she was gone. Forever. Backhand index pointing right if you had lived in that village. Would you have gone after her? Or stayed quiet, fearing what you might uncover? Generations passed, and the curse deepened. Children born of these marriages often didn't survive. Some were born with twisted limbs, some with empty eyes that seemed ashamed of their very existence. Locals whispered that these children were ghosts born alive. And the daughters, mothers of their own siblings, were left hollow, shadows of themselves. In 1902, a journal was discovered in the ruins of the farmhouse. Its pages told of a marriage oath written in blood. The words read, "My body, my womb, my children all remain within the blood of my father." Signed not once, but by nearly every daughter in that family. Not willing, but forced. Backhand index pointing right, was this madness? Or was this some ritual? Some belief that purity meant destruction? The more investigators uncovered, the darker it became. This wasn't just abuse. It was obsession. It was control disguised as God's will. The father preached to his children that outsiders were evil, that the only safe hands were his own, and the daughters, brainwashed and broken, accepted their prison. But the truth has a way of bleeding through. By the 1920s, the family was nearly gone. Disease, violence, and madness wiped out most of the bloodline. The farmhouse collapsed into ruin. Yet some whisper that a few descendants survived, scattered across the South, their DNA carrying the silent scars of the pact. And here's the terrifying thought. Backhand index pointing right. What if one of those descendants is alive today, never knowing the curse carved into their family tree? Now let me ask you, backhand index pointing right, do you think this was the only family that made such a pact? Or are there others, still hidden in America's backwoods, repeating the same horror in silence? This, my friends, is the story of the Marriage Pact. Not just a tale of abuse, but a legacy of silence, shame, and control. A secret so vile it tried to erase itself from history. But history remembers. And so do we. If you believe stories like this should never be buried, make sure you subscribe, because many more forgotten family secrets wait to be told. And in the comments, tell me, backhand index pointing right if you discover a family living like this today. Would you expose them, or would fear keep you silent?